that it's going to take, and it's going to take all of us to eradicate poverty. But we ask our leaders to help us. We elected you to lead, so lead. Give us a plan. Give us a way. Show us how to do it. We'll get behind you if you really lead. No more cuts. Let's take care of this. We can do it. We have a lot of power. We have a lot of capabilities. Let's finally use them for all of us.
Yeah, right on.
So if you had an opportunity to beg our leaders for justice in regards to the poor in our midst and the most vulnerable, what would you write? What would you say? If you haven't had an opportunity yet, please write on the notepads that have been floating around. Take time to write that beg. And as Gordon sings this next song, please come forward and place it in our begging bowl.
For one who has nothing shares with strangers. When the thirsty water give unto us all. When the wounded in their weakness strengthen others, then we know that God still goes that road with us. Then we know that God still goes that road with us.
At this time, I want to welcome Mr. Shane Simpson, member of the legislature for Vancouver Hastings and NDP critic for housing and what was the second?
Social development.
Housing and social development. Thank you for being present with us. And please receive this bowl of begs on our behalf, and especially on the behalf of the most vulnerable in our midst and our communities.
Amen.
It's a privilege to be here and to join in the task and the challenge that you put forward. And it's also, quite frankly, very humbling to accept the challenge and to accept the work that this bowl represents and that's in front of us. We know here in British Columbia that more than 500,000 of our neighbors, our friends, our brothers and sisters live in poverty in this province today. Of that, 30% are children. And we know that children don't get poor on their own. Poor children represent poor families. And we also know that more than half of those families and half of those people have an income. They have a full-time paycheck coming into the household. But for 10 years, we've not seen that minimum wage rise, and they live in poverty even though they are working. We know that we have as many as 15,000 people living homeless throughout this province today, and thousands more who are just one step away from that, one paycheck away, one increased rent away, one eviction away from being homeless. These are great challenges that we face. We need to do that work. Our commitment is to raise that minimum wage. We will do that immediately should we win the next election, and we will push this government for the next 3 years to do that now.
People need help now.
It's our commitment that poverty reduction and a poverty reduction strategy needs to be put in place. 6 other provinces in this country have done that. We need a poverty reduction strategy with firm timelines, firm targets, that is transparent, that is legislated, and that clearly commits to meeting needs around housing, around childcare, around income, around training, around health, all of those aspects that are integral to an effective poverty reduction strategy. These challenges will not be easy to meet, but we have to commit to meet them, and we need to all commit, and we who are in this building and have this commitment, and you who are in the faith community who are doing this work, and British Columbians, people across this province who believe in the cause of social equity for our most vulnerable citizens, we need to stand with one voice, because there are those who will say it costs too much. There are those who will say we can't do it. There are those who will say there are other priorities. Well, if we are to be the best place on earth, and the Premier tells us that we are, we cannot be the best place on earth as long as so many hundreds of thousands of vulnerable British Columbians are left behind. And when we rise them up with us, then we will be the best place on earth. And our voices in the legislature and your voices here on the street and in the churches are what we need. Thank you very much for coming. It's a privilege again to be here with you. And I will take this and I will read every one of them, and we will make every effort to do everything that we can sooner rather than later to deal with the social inequality in this province.
Once more, I just want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you for your presence this day. And may God's loving Spirit give wings to our words, wings to our asks, strength to those who carry them for us, that in all of our communities we may all live together in dignity and in peace. May this be our prayer as we leave here this day. May it be so. And together the people say, Amen.
I am walking